This is Camera B and we're reviewing Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Star Wars is just another Star Wars film.
Yeah, that's about all we need to say on that.
Yeah, it's just another Star Wars film.
First of all, how did you like the movie?
It was okay. It was average.
See, I completely disagree. I actually think it was a good movie.
It was okay. It wasn't a great film. It wasn't a great film.
No, but if we look at each of the points, so if we work through it, cinematography first.
There's nothing spectacular there.
Yeah, you see, it was good. From a cinematography point of view, I mean, we watched it in IMAX 3D.
Yeah.
That looked great, but I guess the problem was it wasn't groundbreaking, maybe.
The cinematography didn't really add anything. It didn't tell much to the viewer about what was going on.
There were a few shots, though, that you look at and think, yeah, that's a good thing. So some of the, in 3D particularly, the long stuff of the Superstar Destroyer coming in front of the frame, that sort of thing, and it hovered there for a few seconds. They enabled you in 3D to sort of inspect the elements of it.
Yeah, but I guess the 3D aspect of that certainly is new, but the rest of that is just a rehash of the old scenes anyway. When there are close-ups of blasters and lightsabers, they felt better. They felt like they were menacing, whereas in 2D, it just felt like they looked good.
Right. Some of the scenes, particularly some of the space stuff, was just the same as we'd seen before.
So most of them are homages, which would be the kind of word, rather than copy.
Yeah. The only new thing, I guess, is when we first saw Rey and she was inside scavenging for parts. There was some kind of new stuff there.
Yeah, they certainly do start the scenes off slightly differently. They start off with nice close-ups of the action straight into the middle of it. But I think, to me anyway, that's really the only innovation.
One of the issues I have, though, is that the Star Wars universe is so big, but they went to different places, and yet, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like they were all really close together. And it was pretty much, we're going to go there, 5 seconds later we're there.
Yeah, and I think it's a difference in how they edit it together. Because in the original Star Wars, and it's a bit old-fashioned, but they might do like a swipe cut or something like that, which is a better indication that a lot of time has passed.
We would have forgiven it in Star Wars.
Maybe we would have forgiven it, yeah. But they didn't use them because it's old. And so you have the same kind of cut from going from one room to the other room, and that's the same kind of cut they use from going, days ahead in time. Yeah. But actually, I didn't get the what's his face? Stormtrooper, Finn.
Oh yeah.
Climbs on top of on the top of the dashboard, and does that comedy thing where he leans on Rey's head.
Oh yeah.
To look out of the window.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Do you see anything?" When the entirety of the inside of the ship has turned red, so they're clear that are inside of the other ship.
I guess that's kind of reminiscent of the whole film, really, and that they tried to get a comedy thing in, maybe in the way of storytelling.
Yeah, and I think that you're right, because I think that sometimes gets in the way of the script.
So what did you think about the script overall, then?
A lot of exposition, and then a lot of fan service as well.
I actually like that. I think that for a Star Wars reboot, which is basically what it is, you need a bit of that pandering to the existing fans.
They don't make it subtle at all. And a lot of the lines they've written in, they've designed them as if they want them to be quoted.
But if there hadn't been those, people would have been angry.
I guess you're right, because it is just a corporate film for selling toys. I think they've made it artificial. In the original films, the quotes that came from it weren't they didn't seem like they were supposed to be quotes. They seemed like natural scene dialogue, and they got turned into quotes because it's the pivotal piece of dialogue in that particular scene. But in this movie, it feels artificial.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I think maybe that's because we were expecting it.
It's a film for fans, not a film to be a good film.
So, okay, that's the script then. From an acting point of view, how was the acting? I had issues.
Yes, me too. Particularly with Rey at the start. I got more used to her acting later on.
Or did it improve?
I think I got used to it.
I think it may have improved. I wasn't convinced by Kylo Ren. I'm not convinced by him in the whole movie as a bad guy, honestly. He's not bad enough.
Yeah, although I think that was the point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't actually a fully qualified bad guy. I think with Kylo Ren, I think it's because you're expecting a great villain. You're expecting a scary villain.
Yeah.
But what you get is a teenage boy who has anger issues.
So in that respect, I think Adam Driver, the actor who plays Kylo Ren, is given a hard task. There were some standout actors. There were some really good scenes. He came straight back into character.
Although Harrison Ford and Han Solo have so much overlap in their personalities anyway.
But you managed to age the character as well, which is quite nice.
They did, yes.
I don't know if that's script or direction or just great acting.
I think it's a combination of all of those, probably.
Princess Leia was never convinced any of the time she was on screen. It was like she was trying to play herself.
Yeah,
So
I saw Carrie Fisher, not
yeah.
Leia.
Finn's acting was good.
Yeah.
There were some really great bits in there, as well as Poe, the pilot, although there were some pretty hammy lines like, oh, you need a pilot. Yeah. So overall then, acting, how do we rate the acting?
I'm going to give it above average. Good try.
I would rate the acting as acceptable. No, acceptable to good, maybe. How did you feel about the plot?
It's a New Hope with homages to 5 and 6.
The whole story of this movie, essentially, yeah, is the same, but there is there's new people coming along. They're learning everything that we know about the Star Wars universe, pretty much.
That has parallels towards episode 4, where Luke doesn't think it's real either.
Yeah. The fight, the big lightsaber fight, how do you feel about that?
Confused. I appreciate that Kylo Ren had an injury, so I can forgive that he might not be fighting his best. But even so, I feel like he should have been able to easily beat a stormtrooper who has only been out in the field once.
Yeah.
And has never used a lightsaber before.
Which he can. Anyone can use one.
Apparently, yeah.
The only bad guy is that big guy, I can't remember his name. The big Emperor man. We only see him as a hologram.
Yeah.
Which is like, is he really big? I don't know. Or is he just scaled up?
The point of that. Why would they make him a holographic projection?
And why was he in a room that was destroyed?
Yeah. What you get as the audience is, oh my god, this guy's huge. And then, oh, he's a hologram.
Yeah.
Oh. What was that supposed to do for me? It didn't connect to me on an emotional level. It was just a bunch of pretty lights on the screen, really.
I felt bad where Han dies.
I was expecting Han to die, but I was wondering if there would be a twist.
There were a couple of really nice moments in it, though, where you thought this could go either way. Because obviously you knew ultimately at the end, okay, it was probably going to end like that. But there were some nice moments that you've got to credit everybody involved with.
Yeah.
So the other thing I want to mention is the big stormtrooper boss, Captain Phasma. She just gives up in one of the scenes.
To me, when I saw that, I got the feeling that they had a deleted scene in which they somehow forced her to. But yeah, that was not a good scene because I had to construct an explanation for that.
But they could have fixed that. They could have added a couple of lines of dialogue or something. Or maybe it is deleted scenes like you say, but there's these points that if you can start to question stuff, like why would that really happen? R2-D2 only wakes up at exactly the right point in the film.
Yeah, and happens to have the map, which everyone says he doesn't have.
C-3PO, that was a good enough cameo. I think that's all that we wanted, really, just a couple of appearances.
Yeah, he did not need to be in it too much. The powdered bread was cool.
It was a good effect. I did like the fact that the bread then rose, particularly when you didn't know what was happening with the powder.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. So sound then.
Sound was just loud throughout the entire film. Music was pretty good, but that's because I think most of it was either a direct take or very near copy of the original Star Wars music.
But the soundtrack of Star Wars is so much of what makes it Star Wars.
Exactly.
It had to sound basically the same, and it did, and it sounded good.
Exactly. Yes, it did sound good, but I can't give it too much credit because it's nothing new.
Okay, I think we have to sort of have overall opinions for Star Wars. I think that basically says it. It's a Star Wars film.
Exactly.
Okay, how would you rate it compared to the other Star Wars movies?
I think this Star Wars film is better than the prequels, worse than the originals.
So would you pay to see it again?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
So without a doubt, I would pay to see it at least once more. I don't know whether I necessarily buy it on DVD. I don't know if it's something that's going to stand up to repeated watchings or if it's going to work on a small screen even.
Watch it because you have to watch it to keep up with pop culture, but don't expect anything good.
I think watch it because you have to watch it, don't expect anything good, and then be pleasantly surprised. There we go. That's our thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens. You can find out more by going to h9blog.com/camerab, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be back soon. Bye bye.
And share, like, on Facebook, on Reddit, and email it, and maybe put it on Hacker News too for some reason.